something you can't fix.
If you can't fix what's broken, you'll go insane.
It's Jay and Adam. It's Preview.
It's Preview's Fix It with Adam and Jay.
Hey, Peaches, welcome to Fix It, where friends don't let friends fix pop culture alone.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Jay, and you're our listener.
Hey there, listeners.
Ho there, listeners.
Cowabunga, listeners.
Cowabunga, listeners. Hey, everybody. Welcome to our podcast. I am Jay. That's Adam. You may know us from the Totally Tubular, the wildly radical YouTube reaction channel Previewed. Or you may know us, from all of our cool mechanical skateboard tricks.
Yeah,
Those
so
videos
many tricks
online. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
A song I've never heard except when it comes out of Jay's mouth.
This is our show, Fix It, where every week Adam and I take a piece of pop culture that maybe missed the mark, maybe didn't quite get there, maybe needs just one more slice of pizza to get there, and we fix it. And today, Adam and I are going to be fixing the 2014 reboot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. What I was reminded of numerous times, the not Michael Bay directed, the Michael Bay produced project.
Yes.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Though it does really feel like he directed it.
Yes.
Because the director who directed it like Michael Bay would direct it. A lot of sweeping shots. A lot of explosions.
I mean, I know we're going to get into this movie in depth.
Yes.
I just have to say right up top, I watched this on Discord with all of the Peaches every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. If you want to join the Previewed Discord, we do a watch-along, whatever movie we're covering the next week, so everyone can get up to speed. I did watch this with the Discord, and it was my first time watching it. I had heard so many things, and the Ninja Turtles are my sweet, sweet boys, that I couldn't bring myself to ever see this movie. I had a pretty good time.
A pretty good time.
I liked it way more than I thought I would.
Sure.
And I think it's really just, in the long run, just because I really love Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
And
unlike most reboots nowadays, this one in no way trampled on the Ninja Turtle history.
I would argue that I appreciated how the Ninja Turtles in these movies felt like comic book heroes, more so than other movies, because they are comic book characters.
They are comic book characters.
At the end of the day,
they are. Yes.
And I appreciated that they felt like this was the first time that they, in my opinion, felt like superheroes.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I think they pushed.
Yes,
they pushed
they
the
were
envelope.
superheroes in this one, not just
they
heroes.
were superheroes.
Yes.
Which I think that maybe they pushed that envelope a little bit too far.
Oh, just.
But in my mind, they've always been superheroes, and it's fun. It was fun watching them be superheroes.
Sure.
What's your history with Ninja Turtles?
Do not quote the old magic to me, Jay. I was there when it began.
I am not purity testing here.
I know.
Just
I just figured that was a good quote because I was there at the beginning.
Yeah.
From the very beginning.
Yeah, you got in on like the actual comics.
I was on the ground floor. He-Man was over. Where do I go from here? Silverhawks is pretty cool. Oh, that show went away immediately. Oh, that was fun. It's like Thundercats. What's this? Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Mom, I need all of these things, please.
Yes.
And then they got me the graphic novel. They got me the book. None of us.
I'm reading through right now.
Yes, because you borrowed it from me. Because I had to rebuy it because I lost my original copy. It was like 300 pages long.
My in-laws were at the shore right now, and I've been reading Ninja Turtles.
Oh.
And they're like, "Oh, what are you reading?" I was like, "Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles." And they're like, "Oh," and I was like, "Guys," what did you think I was reading? Like.
Yeah.
Twin Cities, like Tale of Two Cities. What do you think I was reading here? Like,
yeah,
Cowabunga.
Well, from I was 11 when the Turtles hit. No, it was like 89. No, it was 88, 89. So I'm like 10. And so the Turtles hit. This is crazy. Watching all the cartoons. I got to get this graphic novel. Oh, it's a comic book? Oh my God, get me this comic book. Oh, it's already been out for years, so they collected it in a big old book. Oh, can I get that for Christmas? Oh yeah, they didn't. My parents never looked at it.
It's wildly very violent.
Oh my God!
It's really
Shredder
violent.
gets decapitated in the first issue.
Yeah.
And 10-year-old Adam's like, "This is the best thing ever."
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yes,
I got
it's
over the
awesome.
fact that it had no color in it immediately.
Yeah.
Because it was just
was
so,
so awesome.
cool.
However, I think it's interesting because I got into this. What was your favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toy?
Oh, jeez. Well, it took me a couple of years to actually get the turtles.
Oh, okay.
Because
They were hard to find.
they were very hard to find.
It was those action figures sold like crazy, and those were some good.
They
action
were
figures.
really good figures.
I don't think they've ever really quite quite duplicated how good those toys were.
They were very good.
They were sturdy.
They held up, and it was easier to keep their weapons attached to them because they actually had things to hold on to them on their shells.
Yes, it was so
awesome.
awesome.
It was so.
Weirdly, my favorite toy, I got one of the Shredder, one of the Technodrone, like the drill machine. You know that they would
I
like
never got
exit
any
out
of
of the
vehicles.
ground.
Yeah. I never
And
had any of the vehicles.
the wheels were attached to the drill on the front, and when you would drive it, the drill would spin.
Yep,
I'd be
that's
like, this is
perfect.
the coolest toy. I was like, I love this toy. This is all. I was like, oh, this is. I had it in my head canon that the Turtles like hijacked one of these, and it was their car now, and they just were like, cowbunga. But I think also Turtles are the one prime example on when a marketing team can get a hold of a project and kind of make it more palatable for a wider audience.
Sure.
Can sometimes be a good thing.
Yes.
Because in the original comic, like, yeah, that we had all the turtles, but they didn't necessarily have their personalities weren't really that different to some degree.
They were basically the same things, yes.
And the fact that like giving them all distinct personalities and the different colors of their shells and like making them like a full, more well-rounded team, like made it more palatable because people were like, oh, well, I like this one because of this.
Yep.
But also,
Donnie does machines.
Yes. But I think it expanded that it just like expanded like what that universe was capable of, and like it made these characters more like more lovable in a way.
It's one of the few times where we saw the growth of a product in pop culture go from its initial idea and the creators coming up with a comic book to get someone buying the toy rights and then changing all of it.
Yeah.
And then it kind of going back, but keeping the franchise alive enough.
Yeah.
The first movie was still one of the best superhero movies or comic book movies of all time.
One of them. It's
still the best.
If
turtle
it's not
movie.
in your top 5, you're not paying.
I actually went
attention.
back and watched the first half hour of it just to make sure. I was like, how did the good one start?
Yeah.
There are some other good turtle films out there. Like the animated one was decent, but that was a sequel to like other things. Like, how did this one start again? Oh, right. April has this voiceover from Channel 3 about all this stuff, and April works at WTRL. I was like, I noticed this now because I'm older. Like, oh, that was really good. But like, okay, so this movie was awesome for everybody. And they're like, we need to kidify it for the second one. And then we got the second one, so I had to fix it. But like, it kept the franchise alive enough or long enough to get other people involved. Like, great, this was really for kids when it started out as a cartoon, but like, all those kids now are like 20. We need to age this up a little bit and take this just a little bit more seriously. Fast forward to the current, I think, IDW run of this thing is like, I don't know, issue 200 or something like that. Yo, I still need to read it. It's apparently absolutely insane how good it is.
Donnie's in Metalhead's body now.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah, they killed Donatello.
Yeah, no, I was aware that one of them died, and then they had the whole last Ronin storyline going on. That's going to be a video game.
Yeah.
Like, we've finally gotten far
Dude,
enough that they're
I'm
taking
playing
it
that.
seriously
I'm
again.
streaming the bejesus out of that thing.
Okay.
Oh, boy. Oh, man, a Ninja Turtles video, like, with what they're capable of making now, yes please and thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. It's
Yeah.
great. It's the kind of thing where it's like, I really wish that I, like, the amount of disposable income I had that I wish I had right now,
That you wish
it would
you
go
had.
into Ninja Turtle comics in a way that
Oh, wow.
think it's probably better that I don't have that disposable income.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I think we can talk about Turtles.
Yes,
literally
needless to
all
say, we
day.
both really love the Ninja Turtles.
We love the
and
Ninja
a Peach
Turtles.
got me this shirt. I don't know if you can see this shirt. So the first time I've actually been able to wear it because
Yeah.
it's got a bunch of green on it, and I couldn't wear it in front of a green screen.
That shirt.
But I walked in with a shirt, and he
it
was like, "I
rules-
want that shirt."
It rules so hard. It
Yeah.
rules so
This
hard.
is a freaking nice ass
It's
shirt.
so good. I love it very much. It's amazing. Great podcasting though for those listening on all
That's why you gotta watch the show.
That's
Jay.
why.
You
Yeah.
gotta
Subscribe to the
get those eyeballs over
YouTube channel,
baby.
darn it!
Yeah.
If you're not already there, we Fix It has its own thing going on, baby.
Mm-hmm.
But before we dig deep into fixing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and fixing this movie in particular, this is one of my favorite segments of the show, where Adam and I kind of check in with each other and learn more about each other. A segment we call "Roll for Convo." Our producer Brian, our lovely, beautiful, handsome producer Brian.
Oh my!
He has provided 20 conversation starters for the two of us.
20 different questions.
20 different questions.
This is important.
Because at one time during an Indiana Jones fix, it was all the same question, and I got really mad.
Jay was not happy with that little joke.
It just betrayed the sanctity of this segment, and we have a 20-sided die. I'm going to roll right now, and we're going to figure out what our topic of conversation is going to be. I rolled a Gentleman's 2.
Ooh, a Gentleman's 2. If you had one shot to prove yourself as a Hollywood screenwriter, you got to choose the material, what would... The question's so long, it's further than the thing. What would you choose? Let me read that one more time. If you only had one shot to prove yourself as a Hollywood... as a Hollywood screenwriter, and you got to choose the material, what would you choose? So I guess what IP, if any, of existing IP would you want to use for to write a movie about?
I mean, truthfully, and this is not recency bias, but part of me would, a large part of my heart would be like, oh, it's Ninja Turtles.
Oh.
Like straight up, because it's one of my, it's arguably my favorite franchise. As we were watching through this movie, and as I've been reading through the comic, I was like, oh, I think as much as I love like Marvel comics and stuff, I was like, I think this is actually nearer and dearer to my heart than a lot of this other stuff, which is something I'm discovering about myself later in life. It shouldn't be a surprise for the amount of obsession I had over them as a child. But that being said, given that the fact that we're getting a new Turtles project this month, I think from just the little that we have seen, I think they're nailing it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I would go that direction.
Okay, so not Turtles then. An existing IP that you'd like to write a movie about.
I think.
I mean, we know if this question was about
crazy specific.
Oh, okay.
Do you have an answer right out the gate?
Well, my thought as our answer when any question even comes close to something like this, we both have the same answer. Like, oh, Jay and I would tag team the Dresden Files.
1,000%. I mean,
that
Dresden Files.
Give us a pitch. Okay, you want a pitch? Oh, we'll give you a pitch.
Great. We're gonna we would like a gritty cartoon. Get the Castlevania people on board, and we are gonna do. We can give you 10 seasons of Dresden Files.
Yes.
Like there's some books that need to be cut out or maybe smushed together.
Oh, it absolutely will be smushed. Yeah, it's an episode of one larger arc and not the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we
could do it.
We could, and it would just be an excuse to read through Dresden again. Yeah. I mean, like if we had to, as a team, if we had to present something, it would be the Dresden Files cartoon show.
Absolutely.
Like, and I think that would do so well on Netflix
or Amazon.
Like, and I feel like we could put together a presentation good enough to get at least Jim Butcher on our side.
Oh, I think Jim Butcher would totally be on our side.
When the three of us work together, we could sell this to Netflix or Amazon for that matter, because they're getting into the animation game. I think they're
Invincible
with Invincible and all the Vox Machina stuff. I think like it's. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Invincible. Their production schedule is all over the place. That's the thing is that the animation is very, very good.
Yes,
it takes a long time to make very good things.
It does.
Do you have any other things banging around your head other than
movie wise? I mean,
because that's like us.
That is us.
That's our writing team.
An IP that I'm aware of that I think that I would be able to do. I mean, we did do Superman. I liked my Superman pitch because that is like he's my guy and he's never been done right. He's never been done right. Granted, I don't know what James Gunn is doing and what he's writing, so like maybe he's already nailed it, but. Without that information, just the first thing, probably Superman. I'd probably do a really good job with that. Of connecting, of like, hey, this is why I love this guy. Yeah. This is why he's important. And I feel like all the scripts beforehand, every other movie since since the beginning is like, hey, he's really important, and also this could be super awesome and cool.
Yeah.
But we just haven't had the he's also important, but also he can do rad cool stuff, and we can have a fun movie.
Yeah.
At the same time.
You've got possibilities.
It's either been one or the other.
For me, I think it would be a reboot of. I think I would really like to. I think I could get together a really good pitch, and I think my fix was actually like really, really fun about it. I think I could do a Green Lantern movie.
Oh, okay.
Who? Kyle. Definitely Kyle. Because I think that's how, as the DC... here's the thing. I think that the show that they're going to be coming out with is going to be really interesting.
We'll see.
Conceptually, I think it's really fun.
That's the right... That is...
But
it's space cops.
I will be 1,000% honest with you. It bums me out that we've gotten all these Justice League movies that just don't have... that. There's no green anywhere. And it's like This is how you really can expand the DCU. Mm-hmm. It opens up literally an entire galaxy to you, and I just feel like that's a big missing piece to the like a Justice League concept. But honestly, my first thought that came to mind, and this is a screenplay that I would like to sell to Wes Anderson specifically.
Oh, okay.
I think I would like to work on. I would like Wes Anderson to do his first movie musical, and I'd like him to do it in the style of the Fantastic Mr. Fox, so his stop motion animation situation.
Okay.
I would like him to do the musical Urinetown.
Okay.
Whereas everyone is much like in Fantastic Mr. Fox, everyone is like anthropomorphized animals.
Oh, okay.
And I would like all of the like downtrodden to be rabbits. And I think you could get the truest sense of what Urinetown should be from a Brechtian standpoint through that lens.
Wow.
It is wildly specific.
Yeah.
But I think it could be. First of all, the show's hilarious. It's truly very, very funny. It's not. It's the type of musical that's funny to its very root.
Okay.
It's not like, oh, we had this plot and we added some jokes in. Mm-hmm. It's like conceptually, this whole thing is very funny.
Sure.
And it knows exactly what its sense of humor is. Mm-hmm. And I think you could truly make a very, very good Urinetown with stop motion rabbits.
Okay. Wow.
It's truly insane.
That is insane.
Yeah. We did Urinetown in college and it was awesome. And Jeremy Jordan was our Bobby Strong and he was incredible.
Wait, what? Jeremy Jordan was incredible at something? What? That's insane.
It's
I've
like,
never heard of
like,
such
did you
a
know
thing.
he was going to be a star? We're like, yeah. If you saw Urinetown, you'd be like, oh, yeah. He absolutely sang the ever-loving crap out of it. It was awesome. Yeah, so that's my thing. I think you and I both really want to talk about Turtles, so I think we should probably get to it.
Yeah. Chomping at the bit.
Ooh, chomping at the bit. Nunchucks.
Mousers.
Woo! Yeah, that's one thing that, like... Okay, so, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. These movies.
2014, the Michael Bay produced.
Like... Before we get into it, I think we should probably, just for the people who may have not seen this movie,
that's
we
right.
should probably plot drop this movie.
We should plot drop this movie.
I think it's your turn to plot drop, if I recall.
It is my turn.
All right, Adam. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2014 plot drop.
All right, April ONeil is a 20-something-ish. No, she would be probably somewhere. She's late 20s. She's in her late 20s because they did the timeline on this a little bit.
Yeah.
She's in her late 20s. She's trying to be a reporter. She works at a channel, but she's disrespected. They think she's just doing fluff pieces.
I appreciate that point though, because they're all like, "You're too hot to be taken seriously."
Because it's Megan Fox.
Because it's Megan. That actually makes that works.
Oh, it absolutely does. Because Megan Fox is really good in this movie.
She's great. I like her as April.
She's a great
O'Neil.
April.
I like her.
She was a great April.
Yeah.
And her camera guy is Will Arnett, and he's just being Will Arnett.
the most unnecessary character of all time.
Pretty much, yeah.
He literally is just there to get April to A to B. Sorry, I don't. You're plot
not
dropping.
wrong.
You're plot dropping.
So April wants to. She's aware that there's a story going on with this Foot Clan who's in a secret organization somewhere in the city, and there's a lot of crime going on, and she's gonna figure it out. But nobody believes her. But she's out there. She's interviewing people. She's pounding the pavement, doing all the things necessary. And eventually, she finds out that she's by the docks in Brooklyn, and she's like, I'm pretty sure the Foot Clan's gonna show back up because their robbery was thwarted last time. They're gonna hit it again, and so she shows up and she catches the robbery in motion. And then all of a sudden, all these Foot Clan people, I wouldn't call them ninjas because they're using guns and stuff, start screaming and shooting, much like that scene from multiple Batman films.
Yeah.
It's like, who are you? I'm Batman. It's like, oh no, what's going on? She can't see. She's far away. She tries to see closer. She doesn't quite see what's going on. And all of a sudden, a shipping container seemingly gets thrown from off screen and squanches some guys.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the heck was that? Oh my God. She's like whipping the camera. She can't roll it. And she gets a brief glimpse of what seems like a mysterious turtle
this
guy.
This is gonna be the longest plot drop ever.
No, I'm gonna speed this up. I'm gonna speed it up. It's like, oh my God, I think there's turtles out there. And so April starts investigating. She starts telling people about it.
Whoopi's real mean.
Oh yeah, Whoopi Goldberg's in it. She's like the boss. She doesn't believe her at all. And then eventually April gets footage of oh, wait a second, there were turtles, giant turtles.
Yeah.
Because the Foot Clan tries to be like, we gotta figure out who these freaks are who are stopping us. Take everyone down to was it the Broad Street station?
Like that,
it was
yeah.
the actual station.
Yeah.
They shot in the New York City station. It was
sure
oh
did.
crap, that is the station. They shot there a couple of nights probably. They took a bunch of hostages. They were gonna blow up everything apparently and kill everybody. But then these giant turtles that we don't see in the scene show up and body all of these Foot Clan mercenaries. They're not ninjas. They're mercenaries. And they just get wrecked. Oh, okay. April follows them, takes a snapshot of them. Oh, giant turtles. And they're like, oh man, we gotta go talk to April. Make sure she doesn't publish that. They head back, grab April, take her back to the lair. And then all of a sudden it was April realizes, and the turtles, and Splinter realizes, oh, wait a second. April, you were there when we were created 15 years ago.
I kind of like that, actually.
It's not a bad idea.
It's not
bad.
Yeah. This movie makes so many choices that I'm like, I don't know if I'd make that choice, but I appreciate but you're doing it.
It's not a bad idea.
Not
so
bad.
What happened was April's dad worked at this company that was doing stuff with the ooze, but you saw the canister and it had TCRI on it.
Yeah.
And something happened. There was a break-in. April's dad was killed.
Yeah.
And there was a huge fire, and as the goo kind of exploded, or the mutant or the animals they were testing this mutagen on was a rat and 4 turtles that April was taking care of because she was with her dad a lot, and so she rescued them from the fire. And because everything was super crazy and she didn't know what to do because she was 10 years old, or maybe a little older than that, she released them down to a sewer grate. And then the mutagen started working. Splinter grew into Splinter, and the turtles started to grow. And so that's how we have our Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Our Ninja Turtles, who are really seeing now for the first time, in light, are just way too big, and they're just slightly smaller Hulks. All of them.
Yeah.
All 4 of them.
They're huge.
They're beyond man-sized.
I'm okay with that. Here's the thing.
Sure.
Here's the thing. I'm okay with them being the size that they are. I'm okay with them being, it's that they hired adults to voice act and motion capture all of these turtles.
And they also mistreated them when they were in the mocap suits.
Yeah, they did not.
They did not. It was not.
The guy,
ooh.
Jack Reacher, what's his name?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I hated doing these movies.
Yeah.
Absolutely hated them.
Yeah.
But they're not teenagers.
No.
Sorry, you're still plot dropping.
So the turtles and April realize they're all basically family, but Mikey still really creepily hits on her throughout the whole movie.
Hate it.
It's gross.
It's the worst choice.
It's very
and
gross.
It's the only character choice they make for Mikey the whole time.
It's very gross. But a businessman who her dad was connected with because he was a science guy in the same place, owns a business, and he was like, oh, those Ninja Turtles are actually my company property, and they're in their blood because they have magic blood now. is the cure or what the information
Mutagen.
I need. It's mutagen. I need the mutagen in their blood so I can make this cure for a disease I want to release all over. It's the Mission Impossible 2 plot.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's terrible mixed with the Incredible Spider-Man.
It's too simple by half.
Yeah, it's really bad. So they figure out using April as to like figure out where the turtles are. They track the turtles down to their lair. There's a lair fight. Splinter kicks a bunch of butt, and then Shredder shows up.
It's not really Spider-Man. It's not exactly Amazing
in
Spider-Man.
that they want to release the thing from the top of a
because
building.
he wants everyone to be lizards because
Yeah.
they think we'll be better off as lizards.
Sure. Well, wouldn't everyone be better off if they were
Yeah.
lizard?
Yeah, I agree. Anyways,
Longest
plot drop ever.
No, this is shorter than Captain Marvel. So Shredder shows up because Shredder's working with the guy who owns the company, and he's in a giant mech suit, and they fight. And it's too
He's
much.
not really
it's,
explained.
it's too busy. It's not great. And so they capture the turtles. Splinter's presumed dead. Raphael's also presumed dead. They capture the turtles. They try to start draining them of their blood. Raphael goes to a mountain resort that's clearly like very far enough away from New York City where it's snowing, even though in the city it's summer. So Raphael and April save everybody. They get them out, and they have this weird like snowboarding scene to get away from the bad guys, the foot mercenaries, because they're not ninjas.
It's snow shelling. They don't really board.
I don't know, man. I realized that the only reason why it was snowing on that mountain.
There is no mountaintops. There is no mountaintops with snow that is
that close to the city.
That's a 20-minute.
Yeah,
that's a 20-minute helicopter ride to New York City.
Because like it was a disconnect. She's like, I'm gonna go see this guy's at his house.
They were in Vermont, like
Yes.
you know what I mean. They're in New Hampshire, like
it was all just for this action scene later on in the movie where they slide down the mountain with snow. They survive. One of the bad guys die. They get into the sewer. Like we gotta save the city from the release of this mutagen.
Yep, they fight
disease.
Shredder. Ta-da.
Yeah, and they fight Shredder, and then Splinter's not there, so it's I don't know. The whole thing, the end was trying to be like the end of the first movie, and it was just way too busy and way too complicated and not nearly as good.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like everyone knows about the turtles now because they fell from the top of a skyscraper basically into Times Square, where everybody was. The end.
Yeah.
All in about 100 minutes.
Yeah, I mean the
less than
movie,
100 movie.
I gotta give them credit. The movie clips. I mean, they don't really waste a lot of time in this movie. So, but I guess this is a movie that I would be okay with them wasting a little time with more character stuff.
Yes, anything besides Mikey creepily hitting on April.
Yeah, it really
Sexual comments from Mikey are the only basic dialogue he has towards April the entire movie.
It's a large amount of his dialogue. Period. Full stop. To a degree that I was like, I feel like a good amount of the characterization of the turtles just like kind of fell flat, and like they don't necessarily seem really that different to me.
The turtles?
Yeah, and I feel like you have an opportunity in these movies to like kind of really differentiate them, but also kind of give them their own stories throughout.
Yes.
And it really I don't know. I just felt it kind of frustrating that like there's certain aspects of this movie that I will say this.
Okay.
In this movie, when the turtles like really take out the trash, it is fun to watch.
Is it?
I think it's great.
Really?
I think I'm so like them. We give a lot of crap to the down the mountain fight.
Yeah.
But that's pretty like. It is pretty radical. I mean, if we're talking like turtles,
It's very tubular, Jay.
it is. It was indeed. I mean, like there was some pretty serious cowabunga moments there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought it was pretty cool. Like there are like I thought it was hilarious when they got the adrenaline pumped in and when they were getting their blood taken.
Sure.
That was. Really,
I mean,
really
all their
funny.
blood was still gone, but
Yeah.
but somehow that's
Yeah, and Shredder kind of taking out the trash was. Shredder fighting Splinter is probably the best fight in the whole thing.
Wow. No, it wasn't.
I liked it.
Okay, why did you like it?
I just thought it was cool, like he was using his tail and stuff, and like moving around and like being all
Okay.
lithe and cool. What?
Why? Here's why.
What?
Here's why.
What?
Here's why I hated that. When Shredder shows up at the lair to capture everybody, is when I realized, oh, wait a second. Splinter and Shredder have no connection to each other whatsoever.
Yeah, that's true.
Shredder is
They
not
really need
connected to
have
this at all. This is not about the Hamato clan. This is not about Arukasaki. This is just he's just there to collect this other guy, his pupil's property. And I was like, oh wait, this should be. Wait, have we established it? Oh, we didn't. Oh, they don't know each other. Oh, this doesn't matter. Oh, this isn't as cool as you guys think it is.
Yeah.
Because there's no underlying tension in the scene because they don't know each other. But there's no stakes here.
Also, I will say this: tying Splinter and Shredder together is always kind of a tough leap, in my opinion.
Well, it depends on how you do it.
It depends on how you do it, but also it's like we have a literal lab rat. How are you connecting him to Shredder? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I know a way.
I know you're gonna do it in your fix. I know that. For me, I just feel like it's also this falls into a similar problem that I think a lot of Ninja Turtles lore, like a lot of Ninja Turtles properties, fall into. There's also a Leonardo problem. They never know what to do with Leonardo. Whereas, in my opinion, he is the main character of Turtles.
Yeah.
Like, Leo's the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't give him much of an arc. They always, man, what is it about screenwriters? And they love Raphael. Wow, they love Raphael. Every Ninja Turtles property. And this is coming from someone who is actually a Raphael.
Yes.
I know people who are like, oh, Jay's Mikey. I'm not. I'm just as moody and emotional as Raphael. If I were a Ninja Turtle, that's who I would be. I think it also plays into my Ninja Turtles personality test. It's like, what turtle do you think you are versus what turtle are you actually? Mm-hmm. Whereas I think I'm a Mikey. I am, however, a Raphael in my deep, dark soul.
Yes.
Whereas you think you're a Leonardo and you are a Donnie.
I do machines.
Yes. You really, but you also like, you are a very like process-oriented thinker. You really like to have a plan like Donnie.
Yeah.
Like, it's
also a little bit like Leo. Leo likes plans. Same. Like if Leo and Donnie
some of us
had a kid, it'd be me.
Anyways, I think there's no the adventure here is not really Turtles based to some degree.
Yes.
And that's where this movie breaks down.
Well, I mean, they were trying to be like, ooh, who's the bad guy? Ooh, Shredder's here? Oh, but wait, this other guy's here? Like, oh, this other guy is clearly the pupil of Shredder.
Yeah.
Oh, like, duh. Like, you were trying to... this movie's only 100 minutes. Of course this guy's bad. He's super bad. Duh. Oh, and Shredder's armor is a mech suit? Well,
nah,
okay.
that ain't it.
Because here's the thing. The two biggest issues I had with this movie... And again, this movie is fine. Like, it was kind of fun.
Yeah. It's fun.
It's kind of fun. It's nowhere near as good as the first Turtles from 1990.
But it's better than Secret of the Ooze.
Oh, by far.
I mean,
oh,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's better than like the third one.
Absolutely. But the thing was, that since this is the first movie in a new franchise, it's like, okay, great. There was no connection between our Turtles and the Foot Clan, none whatsoever. Which is like, well, you need some type of connection there to have the strife and the fighty fights, because like that's kind of the main. That's like the first main point of the whole thing. Then you get the Triceratons and the Tao can come in later, and all sorts of Baxter Stockman and the other mutants.
I know what you mean.
Can all come back in later, but like the first hurdle the Turtles got to jump over is Shredder.
First turtle hurdle.
It's a turtle hurdle.
Strap on your girdle. It's time for some turtle hurdles.
But they didn't have any connection, so like them fighting didn't really mean anything.
Yeah, this movie was very fertile for turtle hurdles, and they didn't decide not to plant the seeds.
They did not. And then when you realize at the beginning scene when April, first catches the robbery being broken up by Raphael, that the thrown shipping container was something he actually threw. I was like, well, the power scaling here is just it was ridiculous.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't listen to a thing you just said. I've just been thinking of things that rhyme with turtle. I just wanted to add more to putting on your girdle for the turtle hurdle.
I appreciate you.
Yeah. And I was like, Squirtle. And I was like, that's a Pokemon, and it's already kind of technically a turtle, so it doesn't really...
It is a little bit kind of a turtle.
Anyways, what were you saying?
Raphael throwing the shipping container at the beginning.
Yes.
Where we all thought, like, oh, that might have been a crane. No. One of the turtles did that. Oh, this isn't a fair fight.
Yeah.
Turtles are way too OP in this movie.
Yeah.
Because they're way too big, they're way too strong, and then towards the end of the second act, you're just like, oh, they also realize that they're bulletproof.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the tension? They're just too big. And so when they made because clearly when they made that design choice to be like, okay, well, how do we differentiate our turtles from the other turtles from before? Oh, they got to be freaking huge.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, then how do we have Shredder fight them? Oh, well, then, because a normal person wouldn't be able to. Even a Ninja Master.
Do you know what's a much stronger choice?
So a mech suit.
Having him just be way better at fighting than they are. If they're teenagers, he could be like, yeah, you guys are huge, but you're still just children. I'm Shredder.
Sure.
Do you know?
They land one shot, though, and he's paced. He's because you could be a much better fighter than the Hulk, but as soon as the Hulk gets an arm.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be just a, like I need, like Shredder will be built. But also, like, he has an intimidation factor. Also, I think he got a built, like, I think Shredder coming out of nowhere is just kind of like, that is assuming that the audience already knows that that's happening. I just feel like this movie assumes that we know this property.
Absolutely does.
So much.
But Shredder's mech suit plus knives that he can summon back to him is like, you guys are close. I see what you're going for. This is not the worst idea in the world, but it also is not really that good of an idea.
I think that's where this whole movie lands, I think. It's like, every choice, I see where you're at. I see you. Mm-hmm. It's just not quite right. But I get it.
Yeah. You're not abusing our history. You're not like, making a mockery of the Turtles. In no way.
I think this movie was made with a lot of love for the Turtles.
I will, yes, definitely for the Turtles.
It just didn't get there.
Not for the actors.
No.
Because I recently watched a video of like, what the heck happened? I was like, oh my God, that's terrible. Wow, they made 2 of these? Those poor guys. That sucks.
I will say this is a movie that definitely plays to my nostalgia. And I forgive a lot of things just because they're my sweet, sweet turtle boys, and I love them. I love them with all their ninja kicks and
here's a question
cool
for
shells.
You. A question for you.
Answer for you.
Same movie, same script, everything's the same, except this time it's not CG turtles. It's a modern day version of the turtle suits from 1990. Any better? Does it how much does it change it?
I think it depends. It also depends on the age of your actors.
Okay.
I think it's more that like this new movie coming out, the fact that they've made them like 13 years old, I think is so inspired, and it's such a flavor that we haven't seen yet.
We have not.
I think I could get behind that a lot more. Because let's be real, dude, the Henson suits from these first movies are still, even by today's standards, like they are movie magic. Like it's a miracle. Like I understand why that movie like exploded, because like it's electric. I love watching it. It's so fun.
When I watched the first half hour the other night, and the first scene, like I was watching the time. April gets jumped by some wayward youths at 5 minutes, and the turtles save her. She grabs Raph's sai, and then we follow the turtles into the sewer. They go back to talk to Splinter. Yeah, like at minute 6. So like by 6 minutes in, we're hearing the theme song. We got the graphic, and we see the turtles walking down the sewer, and they are. It's freaking them.
Yeah.
It's been 30 years. Nope, that's still the turtles. They look perfect.
Yeah.
It doesn't age. They nailed it.
Yeah.
They nailed it. And with all the suits and everyone, the acting, the actors in the suits, the animatronics on the faces, like they nailed it. To the point where CG could they do better with? Of course they could do better, but it wouldn't be better.
But it's the kind of thing where it's like I feel like you still use those suits and then you augment with CG rather than the other way around.
I think you could maybe do some touch ups here and there, but yeah.
I mean, I think there's a way to marry the two things. That's the sweet. That's really, I think. And that's one thing I think Hollywood is kind of getting back to, is realizing, we went a little nuts in the 2000s of like, oh, we can CG everything. It's like, but then
just wear this mocap suit.
It doesn't look
post.
real.
Yeah.
But if you marry practical and computer effects, it's like, wow. like, thanks, Peter Jackson. You're the one that kind of brought that sanity back to movie making. Not in that you made 3 movies over the course of 2 years, but that was a little aggressive. But being like, well, we can't just CG the Riders of Rohan. We need to at least have some of them here.
We need some.
We can't just, we could just put them in post, but like there needs to be Yeah. I don't know.
I'm with you.
But yeah, I had fun with this movie. I don't think I loved this movie, but but I had a good time.
It was a perfectly fine use of about 100 minutes.
Yeah, like I think like a kid would really love this movie.
Yes, I mean you might have to explain a couple things to him, like why Mikey's saying those things to April. But other than that, yeah, it's gross.
It's terrible.
It's gross.
It just is not. It's not what it's about.
No, it's not. Nope.
And April loves Leo, not Mikey.
April loves Donnie.
What? Is that what happens in the comics?
Well, in the 2012 Nickelodeon CG show, which is very good, by the way. There was a little chemistry between Donnie and April.
I think Ninja Turtles hits more than it misses.
It does.
Like from the grand scheme of all the movies and all the shows.
Yeah.
I think it's like it's got a strong enough base that it's kind of hard to like.
Yeah. And besides, Leo has another love interest.
Oh, that's right. Oh boy. Okay. I think we need to fix this.
It's time to fix it, Jay.
It's time to fix this movie.
Producer Brian here, and it seems you forgot me again, but I am here, and I'm bringing you that beautiful bean fun fact footage because we're trying to fix 2014's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Directed by Jonathan Liebesman and produced by Michael Bay, it stars Megan Fox, Will Arnett, and lots of CGI. It cost around $150 million to make, and at the box office it made $493.3 million. The net profit of this movie was around $81 million. Now, if you care, this movie has a 21% on Rotten Tomatoes. Its sequel, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, has a 38% on Rotten Tomatoes. But this movie was nominated for 5 Razzies that year, including Worst Picture, but Megan Fox won Worst Supporting Actress. Anyway, let's fix it!
I'm going to go first.
It's fixin' time!
It's fixin' time! Well, we know what the mutagen is. It's when you mix the morphin grid with Ecto Cooler.
We prefer to call it ooze. It just kind of slides off the tongue. Ooze. Ooze.
Yeah, man, I can't wait. I'm gonna go. Oh, cowbunga, dude. Man, I hope my kid loves Ninja Turtles. I really do.
He better, or he's not gonna have a
better.
choice.
He better. Okay.
Jay's going first.
I actually did. I actually broke down my act beats.
Oh my God, Jay! Did you write paragraphs?
I actually did.
Holy crap! I'm actually kind of.
Yeah, but mine is not anywhere near as detailed as yours. Mine is like
I have some important details. I want to make sure I got them right.
Well,
because I mean, Jay, we said this before, like before we started recording, like of all the episodes that we do and stuff like this, the turtle ones are like, oh no, we really.
Let's be real. We weren't sure about this show until we did Secret of the Ooze fixes, and we were both like, "Oh, this has I love doing this." And I think us having fun doing this will translate into people enjoying listening to it.
Yeah.
Because like I couldn't stop thinking about Ninja Turtles for like a month after that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest with you, it was really hard for me not to just emulate my fix of Secret of the Ooze because I actually like had to like take out certain aspects of my fix in order to not just kind of be what I did last time.
Yeah.
There are similar characters.
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
We open up like 2 years before the movie's like 2 years ago.
So it's a
little prologue kind of situation. We see a younger April ONeil, who is we see a laboratory. We see a laboratory like in an old warehouse, like working on some kind of technically illegal stuff. But the lab has been raided. Before that, we see
Prologue to the prologue.
We see a young Baxter Stockman who is working in this lab.
Okay.
And it becomes clear that like they're working off grid, but they're very clearly working for TCI or whatever.
TCRI.
Man, it's
I don't know.
terrible.
Jay, my dyslexia.
I know.
And I got those letters.
I know you.
It's
nailed it.
very weird. Like I always have TCRI. I don't know why. It's crazy.
He's clearly working on ooze,
Right.
obviously, the mutagen, and we see there is a raid on the lab from the government, and a young Baxter Stockman is like trying to hide the fact that he is technically working for TCRI, and he attempts to destroy the lab before the raid happens, and releases all of the creatures that he was working on. He basically like burns the lab.
Sure.
I don't know if fire is really the way, but burn in the normal sense.
Gotcha.
And then we see all the news vans pull up about like this like warehouse lab and like what's been going on, and we see April O'Neil, a younger April O'Neil, like trying to interview people. And
Cub reporter April O'Neil.
What's up?
Cub reporter April O'Neil.
Yes, she is a reporter, like serious journalist. Like I like the idea in this version that like she may not be working for one of the major papers, but like she's kind of like maybe a blogger, like kind of she has a reputation for like trying to get the hard hitting stories. You know what I mean?
Sure.
She kind of is like
she's not in it for the clicks.
like Eddie Brock in
Yes.
in Venom.
Yes.
That kind of like she kind of plays things by her own rules. And investigating the lab, she kind of sneaks in because she's not really allowed, but it's a crime scene.
Yeah.
She sees like the green, like a large green pool, like leading into like a sewer grate.
Okay.
And they're like, "Oh, don't touch that! Like, we're not sure what that is." And she's like, "Well, clearly, like, it went into the sewer system. Like, this is going to have large sweeping. Like, we don't even know what this is, and it's going into the sewer systems." And so we see a young April O'Neil making her way into the sewer system.
Making her way.
And she finds the large pool of ooze and happens to see the lab experiments that ended up in this sewer system. We see a rat and 4 turtles. And so and then we eventually, like, the mutagen, they're covered in mutagen, and we see like a small rat look up and say hello, and then the camera pans, and this will become important later. The camera pans to like the mutagen like rushing down into lower parts
Of the sewer.
And so we're setting up that April O'Neil has been aware of Splinter and the Turtles from jump.
Nice.
And we get a large amount of this first act is mostly April O'Neil like writing in her like journal or like attempting to write a memoir of this time.
Okay.
Because she was like, so I found these turtles, and we get a full, since this is an origin story.
Yep.
We get April O'Neil is like narrating like their progress.
Nice. Okay, this is new and I like it.
Yeah, and she is helping them like learn about like the real world and what's up there and things like that, and she like brings them books and things like that, and she is inevitably the one that Splinter gets his name because when he says hello, he has like a small splinter from of glass in his hand. He goes, "Can you help me?" And so she pulls the splinter out of his hand. And then the turtles, she's just really into Renaissance art, and so she names them after Renaissance painters, because what else was I gonna do?
What else? Yeah.
And so she is helping them get up to speed, and we're set. It's about a 2-year time frame. I am working on the assumption that mutagen grows consciousness and bodies as fast as metabolism works.
Okay.
And that's one thing she explains. Splinter obviously grows faster and gets older quicker because he's a rat, and they have crazy fast metabolisms.
Oh.
And so in this 2-year span, she explains that like she's like, oh well, like, you know, we've discovered that like mutagen works at basically, you know, the speed of a creature's metabolism. So like Splinter is kind of an older man at this point, and the turtles, well, they're kind of just teenagers. And so, like, it's a 2-year span.
Gotcha.
They are teenagers in the truest sense of development.
Gotcha.
But not necessarily like 13 years old.
Gotcha.
If that makes any sense.
Absolutely makes sense.
She's like, they're turtles. They have really slow metabolisms. They're gonna live for an extraordinarily long time.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, it's like that's just kind of how that works. So we get like her bringing Splinter like books from the library, and him getting into kung fu and treating, and we can explore the different personalities of the turtles. And April is like, where Splinter is kind of their father, April is kind of their mother to some degree. Mm-hmm. And so there's no creepy
there isn't
relationship between the two of them.
Nope.
And
They
so
just want a happy family. They care about each other.
April is trying to keep this secret.
Right.
And she's obviously sneaking down into the sewers near these warehouses, while trying to maintain her job as a journalist.
Sure.
And trying to deal with a very specific crime wave in the city, which is taking over, and people can't necessarily explain it. But as she's sneaking into this warehouse with the sewers and stuff, she catches the attention of a security guard of that area, a young Casey Jones.
Hey!
So they form a relationship. Eventually, he meets the turtles,
Of course.
because he kind of follows her down there, and so like he's kind of part of the gang as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what the story that April is covering in her, there are, it's come to light in New York. There are, someone is doing a series of burglaries and things like that, but also helping kind of the disenfranchised, little Robin Hooding, like helping disenfranchised people around New York.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems whenever this, and what the police will not confirm, but everyone is saying around, this person is accompanied by large swarms of rats. And so they're saying that like rats are becoming a problem in this city. And this guy clearly needs to be stopped.
Yeah.
And the police are like, we are not like equipped to deal with this. Like, if there are any entities out there that can help us take on this problem, like, we're issuing a reward for this rat king. Now, we cut back to we're kind of moving into Act 2 now. We cut to Baxter Stockman, who had escaped, a little bit older, a little bit wiser, and he is working at TCRI. And he has been equipped. He was basically like, he wants to claim, he has to kind of prove himself again to TCRI because the whole mutagen thing blew up in his face.
Right.
And they're all kind of like, you're kind of on the, like, no one was supposed to know about that, dude. Like, what are you doing? He comes up with Mouser technology.
Yep.
And so we see that the Rat King is attempting a burglary while April's covering it, and then Baxter Stockman's Mousers kind of like start taking out rats. The Rat King kind of descends back into the sewers, but they are chased by the Mousers. Throughout that process, the young turtles they're itching to finally like go out there and prove themselves.
Yep.
And they see on the news like what April's doing, and they're like, oh, we should probably try and go help and like get this Rat King guy. And so by trying to intercept the Rat King, because they know the sewers really well,
they do.
They're also intercepted by Mousers. And there's a big fight between, like, there's a 3-way fight between Mousers, rat, like all of these rats from the Rat King and the Rat King himself, and the turtles. Basically, everyone is like kind of defeated in their own way and goes their separate directions. But TCRI now has the information that the turtles exist.
Yep.
And so Baxter Stockman is like, I know who these people are. Those are my turtles. That's the rat. Cool. So we're like, I'm gonna get that mutagen back. Like, I know exactly what we're doing. And so once Baxter Stockman figures out who the turtles are, he specifically he knows that he is probably not necessarily equipped just by himself in order to take the turtles out. He sends a very specific mouser to the Rat King and says, "Hey,
Hey.
I'm not sure what your deal is. I need these turtles back. If you help me get these turtles back, I will, if we team up, we can take care of these turtles, and I will pull back my mousers if you have the ability to."
Batman Returns action.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Rat King figures out where they are. He invades the turtle space.
Oh no.
And we find the Rat King and Splinter have a little bit of a face off, but we find that the Rat King actually has the ability to mind control Splinter.
Yes.
But as they're fighting and Splinter's trying to fight it, Splinter finally he kind of just gathers his chi together.
Sure.
And he was like, "Well, if you have the ability to mind control me, that kind of energy is a two-way street." And then we see kind of Splinter and the Rat King kind of mind meld, and we get the backstory of the Rat King.
Cool. Okay.
We get that story. We get the story of we get the water rushing past with the ooze. The Rat King was actually just a drifter who just happened to be in the sewers, and he was a person that was very affectionate towards rats and really felt a kinship with them, and he was exposed to ooze, which in the comic he is also a mutant as well. It just isn't as intense, obviously.
Oh, okay.
But he becomes affected by the mutagen and then just has the ability to commune with rats.
Cool.
And then as Splinter realizes this, basically they are able to have a conversation, and Splinter is like, we are not that much different.
Yeah.
We have both been affected by this product, and we are not enemies. And so basically the Splinter helps the Rat King kind of come around, and then the Turtles and the Rat King take on, basically, to sneak into TCRI with the Ninja Turtles and the power of rats.
Okay.
And Casey Jones and April,
of course,
have to infiltrate TCRI and in an RR huge just huge building have to fight their way up the entire
all right.
time.
You love that. You'll always love that.
And look, you know what? I was thinking about keeping this out, but I think this is a perfect end fight. I like the idea of them getting to the top and Baxter Stockman being like, "Hey, I figured after our last fight with all of the mousers, we're gonna have to fight fire with fire." And we see he has designed a not a mouser, a turtler known as Metalhead, a full metal Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
And the Ninja Turtles have to take out Metalhead and eventually do away with Baxter Stockman.
Yes, that makes sense.
And that's kind of the overall gist of it.
Sure.
And then in post-credit sequence, we find out that basically we see a Baxter Stockman on his way to jail, and he is saved by the Foot Clan. And they were like, "You did some interesting things in New York. We've been wanting to get into business in New York.
Yep.
And we think you might be able to help us out." And it's the Foot Clan, and we eventually just see a background of just a spiked helmet, and that's it. I think that's you expand the world of what mutagen can do.
Yep.
You open the door for other mutants.
Yep.
Which is all dude, that was so much fun about the cartoon and then the comic books and then the action figures, because the action figures actually took more of a pull from the comics than it did the show.
Yep.
Because we were getting characters, I was like, I don't know who this is, but this is awesome. He's a gecko with a skateboard? Yes, please. Oh, he's a duck and has wings and can fly? Yes, I love it. I want more of that. So, I am expanding a TMT that is going to have Shredder. It's going to have all of our science stuff.
Yeah.
It's going to have like all of this stuff leading up to it, and it also expands the world of like what mutagen is possible.
Sure.
And there are humans that can be affected by mutagen. What does it do to them? Oh, they turned this guy into a rat king. Okay, what's up with that?
It doesn't necessarily turn you into an animal hybrid.
No,
It just can give you some type of ability.
Yes.
Yep.
It's a simple process.
Yeah.
But also it also leads to them, being able to hijack Metalhead and him being a turtle later
Later on, yep.
Yeah.
Sequel bait.
Yeah, that's pretty much my Turtles fix. It's not exactly I like the idea of, the first act is just going to be us meeting the Turtles.
Yes.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And then like it's going to speed along in 2 and 3. Like I know it was pretty quick, but I was just like this is all it needs to be.
Yeah. Set the groundwork for later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we can get into, once we have established the Turtles and their individual personalities, then in the second and third movie we can get into like their own personal struggles. I'm not necessarily going to deal with that in this movie.
No.
Because this is just about survival.
Yes.
And this is about them
surviving this initial attack
and them
getting over this first turtle hurdle.
They got to get over their first turtle hurdle, and this is like the first time that they're really coming out as as ninjas,
as heroes in the half shell.
Turtle power, baby. I fucking love the Turtles. I love them so much. But yeah, that's it.
Great.
Not much.
No, but nice and different, and a good first turtle hurdle.
It also, when going through these things, I'm like, Jay, you don't need to write every scene. Let's just you know what I mean? Like,
Jay, stop being Adam.
There is
just
obvious
the highlights.
There is obvious places for all sorts of different.
Oh yeah, all sorts of things.
But yeah, so that is what I would do with a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Because again, Shredder is Doom. He doesn't need to be in the first movie. Stop putting him in the first movie. Fantastic Four.
Uh-oh.
You idiots. Super Skrull is perfect. It's Khaleesi. Let's get it done. Or Gravik's not dead. Who's to say?
Khaleesi.
All right.
Okay.
Hit me with your fix, buddy.
My fix. Okay. So, I thought this movie did have a couple of really good ideas, so I'm going to take some of it and just expand upon it a little bit.
Hit me.
So we open up in New York City.
All right.
It's 2014. So, of course, everyone's eating pizza.
Everyone's eating pizza. That's all we do here, you guys.
The only thing we eat here in New York City
is pizza.
We just eat pizza.
It's pizza.
And so we hear, over some B-roll of the city, we hear citizen journalist April O'Neil giving us a rundown of what's going on in the city. The crime rate is up, but not by much officially. But unofficially, unreported accounts of robbery and assault are way up. But it seems like the cops just can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So as April's kind of going over all these stats and stuff like that, we kind of see that this is kind of one of those video essays on YouTube. And eventually it gets to April being in front of a conspiracy board being like, Carol! This is the story, yeah. Shredder! Foot Clan! She's like, this is the story no one's covering.
Yeah.
There's a shadow organization here in the city called the Foot Clan, and they're behind all this stuff, but no one else is reporting on it.
Yeah.
And she's like, there's all the things. So she's obviously doing this YouTube video about all the stuff. And she's like, and it all started 15 years ago with a break-in at the TCRI building where millions of dollars in property damage and stolen tech and research. And then, and this is because it happened in 1999, for a second, because April's on camera when she's doing this to camera, we see her just for a second kind of like get choked up real quick before she says, and 4 people were murdered. So April finishes the YouTube video, news essay, by telling her audience, of course, that her expose on the Foot Clan will be coming soon, because it takes a while to edit. But until then, please subscribe, and hit that bell for the stories that the local news won't cover. And for channel6.com, I'm April O'Neil. So we cut to IRL April. She's setting up somewhere in Brooklyn for a stakeout.
Okay.
And because she's like, you know what? Before she really gets into the stakeout, she calls her roommate Irma. And I was like, hey, this is where I am, just in case anything bad happens.
Yeah.
And tells her, listen, the Foot Clan have been doing, have been robbing these certain companies. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the next one on their list. So I'm setting up here for the long haul. I'm going to be here all night, and I'll check in, periodically. If I'm not back in the morning, like, you know what to do. It's like, okay, I'm really worried about you, April. I don't know, but okay, I'm with you. Great. So April starts, sinks in for the stakeout. We kind of see a little time fast forward a little bit of her just kind of relaxing and eating stuff, like staking out this building, and eventually she sees like movement. She's like, "Yep, this is happening." So she has like a camera because it's 2014, so like phone cameras kind of exist, but they're not nowhere near as good as now.
Yeah, but they also weren't as bad as they made them. They weren't.
But she could also have like
girl needs a better phone. Like. Like, we had iPhones then.
We did have iPhones back then. But whatever type of camera April has, maybe it could be a handheld or maybe it's her phone. She's got a little like body cam rig for her, so she can go in there hands free.
All right.
So she runs into the building to get footage, video evidence of the robbery taking place, because she's like, "I'm telling you this, the Foot Clan's doing this thing."
Yeah.
She follows the break-in and actually gets sneaks around and then sees the Foot Clan robbing this company. She's like, "I knew it. Freaking knew it." She's like, "This is great." She's got the camera. This is fantastic. And then all of a sudden, a couple of guys turn and see her. She's like, "Oh no, crap!" So she's like, "I gotta go." So she's running out, and she's like, it's a deep shadows. Like, this is a well lit movie, a lot of shadows. So she's darting from shadow to shadow. She's getting chased, and then all of a sudden, in the darkened area that she's in, and the hallway, all of a sudden, all the lights go out.
Okay.
And then all we hear is a bunch of butt kicking.
Yeah.
And then April starts fiddling around, and she turns the light on her camera.
Yeah.
She turns around, and she just sees a bunch of guys knocked out and tied up. And then all of a sudden there's a hand that comes out from the shadows behind her and grabs her shoulder. And we see April spin around and kick this guy's ass ninja style. Like, April takes this guy out.
Yeah.
And you just hear a, "Whoa." And you see another hand, this time it's green, with 3 fingers, reach out from the shadows. But before that hand can touch April, April spins around, and the camera light falls on Mikey, and they both scream, and all of a sudden, April's just by herself in the hallway.
Okay.
April plays back. I was like, wait, plays back the footage, and we freeze frame on a screaming turtle's face. And April's like, I gotta call the cops. She calls the cops. Camera pans back out. The turtles just we see them kind of enter the sewer. Just again, like the sewer grate just falling.
Yeah.
And we see, but before they go further back, and we see someone else was watching April watch the break-in. So then we follow this.
Usagi Yojimbo.
Shut up, dude. Are you reading my screen? No, it's not. It's not.
Mondo Gecko. Gotcha.
April calls the cops.
Triceratons.
Oh, that's always the third movie, bud.
Yeah.
You gotta go into space in the third one. Not back in time, in space.
God, that universe. This universe is so. It's
a lot.
It's so crazy, and I love it.
So we follow the turtles back to the sewer as we go to their lair. It's this, this is the turtles go to their lair scene in from all these films. We meet Splinter. We meet the guys. We see that they're lair. It's all cool. We get their personality. It's the general. Hey, what our turtles look like. They are. We're doing the suit, marrying the suit with a CGI face.
Okay.
Because the suits were awesome.
Yeah.
They're not Hulks. They need to be somewhat human. They are basically human.
Hire a bunch of actual 15-year-olds.
Yeah. They are a little bit bigger because they have shells, but like they are basically like human-ish size. They are not freaking giant.
I agree. Yeah.
So they talk to Splinter. We meet Splinter. He's not super creepy. Like, this movie was not horrible bad, but it's like it's a little. Splinter's a little scary.
He was a little scary, and part of me was like, why did they get Tony Shalhoub and when he's an Asian rat? And then I was like, oh no, he just read it out of a book and decided to. I was like, if anything, Splinter is culturally appropriating that look.
Yeah. That whole how they know ninjutsu was. Yeah,
I'm fine with it.
Whatever. So they talk to Splinter about what happened, and
is it any more or less ridiculous than a rat already knowing kung fu?
It's not.
It's not.
It's not. It's not. But everyone's got their preferred origin, and it's like, hey, he learned it from the book. How did he learn all that stuff from the book? That book doesn't. Did it have all the weapon forms in it? Did they get more books?
Oh, come on.
I don't. Anyways, they tell that they think they got April. They saved April ONeil. Because they've seen her videos.
Yeah.
And, like, I think that she might have gotten us on camera. And you see Splinter kind of, like, you need to get out and protect April O'Neil right now.
She's in big trouble.
She's in big trouble. But you can tell from the way Splinter reacts, kind of like how Janet reacted in Quantumania, that there's clearly something else going on.
Yeah. She's trying to expose the Foot Clan. She doesn't even know what she's getting into.
Splinter is aware that there is, the audience knows that there was more to his outburst.
Did you know the Foot Clan was just supposed to be supposed to be a joke
on the hand?
That's so funny.
Yeah, the whole thing is supposed to be a joke on Daredevil.
It's so funny.
Yeah, and it blossomed into all of this.
Yeah,
it's amazing the power of jokes.
Yeah, and I would take Ninja Turtles over Daredevil any day of the week.
Oh wow, there's apparently some really good Daredevil out there.
Of course there is, but they're not my sweet boys.
They're not. Matt is not your sweet boy.
They're not my sweet boy. I love Matt, but he's not one of my sweet boys.
Sure,
my sweet green my green guys.
So, after Splinter tells his sweet boys to go protect April O'Neil, find her and protect her.
I'm in the funny, my sweet boys.
We flash over and see a young woman who's about 15 years old report to a scary man in the shadows that April O'Neil was there at the robbery tonight and somehow stopped it. So she thinks that April clearly has help because she's getting too close to us. And the spooky guy in the shadows tells this young woman to go find April and silence her. And the young woman says, "Yes, Father."
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So we cut over to April. She just gets home from a late night and kind of like finding out the turtles. And
she's out partying. Yeah.
She talks to Irma, who's just waking up, and we see April sit down ahead of her computer, and we get this really awesome montage of April editing on her computer with Final Cut Pro 10. Man, she's so good because Final Cut Pro 10 can do so many cool things because its UI is amazing. And Jay, there needs to be sponsorship in this movie, and this movie is brought to us by Final Cut Pro 10.
I feel like you should do commercials for Final Cut. Hi, I'm Adam. I'm the only person still using this software.
Not true. Other people do. This UI is just easier than Premiere. Anyways, so she does all the cool stuff, and by the next night, April's finishing up her edit for the next video, and she's like, "Turtles, what? Foot Clan is real," and the turtles show up, and then we get the whole April meets the turtles scene for the first time. So, and they take her up to the roof, and as Leo is doing because he's the leader. As he's doing the introductions of everybody, and we're kind of getting a sense of their personality around her. And there's nothing creepy. No one says anything creepy about April. It's not creepy at all.
Can we not do
that? Very
that?
respectful.
Yeah.
But as Leo is introducing everybody, we're kind of concentrating. We're focused on April's face. Uh-huh. And as Leo goes around, you can see something dawning on April's face by the time, and she guesses Raphael's name. So and everyone's like, "Wait, how did you know his name?" Because no one's wearing an R or an L or an M on their belt buckles.
That was kind of stupid.
It made sense for a cartoon,
yeah.
but no, she just is Raphael. There was wait, kind of like what Splinter did earlier. You could tell by the way she said it that there was something dawning on her. Unfortunately, there's no time to figure out what the heck's going on because the Foot Clan attacks.
Oh, cool.
So now we get a big old rooftop fight between the Turtles and the Foot Clan.
Great.
And it's awesome. And also, April's wading into it. She's gung-ho going after the Foot Clan.
Yeah. She's trying to get all the footage she can and
No, she wants...
she wants to fight.
Yes.
Oh, okay, party.
So she's fighting.
Yeah.
And you know what? April's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
She's not the Turtles level.
Yeah.
But... she's not bad. Granted, the Turtles are kind of stepping in every now and then to protect her because the Foot Clan is trying to kill her.
Yeah.
So eventually,
the joke being Mikey being like, "You can fight." She's like, "Yeah, I took some kickboxing."
I'm gonna cover that.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna get there. So eventually, April comes up to the young woman we saw in the previous scene.
Okay.
And she looks at her, and as this woman's about to attack April, she goes, "Where's Orokusaki?" And this young woman just stops in her tracks. "How do you know that name?" And April lunges at her, "Where is he?" And this woman's disengages from April. And she goes, "Foot Clan, retreat," and bounces out. And then the Turtles are like,
"What's your deal?
What is going on?" Leo just makes this call, "You need to come back with us right now." So they take April to the lair. She gets blindfolded. It's always, April always needs to be blindfolded before they go to the lair because she's she's kind of trusted but not fully yet. So they go back to the lair, and as we're following kind of April through the scene as the boys are talking and through the service and stuff like that. They sit her down and they talk to Splinter, and as we hear the boys talking to Splinter, we're focused on April, and then Splinter's talking a few sentences, but to the boys about what happened and what was going on in this with the Foot Clan. April just chimes in, Yoshi, is that you? And everyone just like, what? And Splinter starts to talk again. And I was like, Miss ONeil, and she's like, and she just, no, I'm done. She's like, pulls it off herself, and like looks at everybody, sees Splinter, freaks out, and Splinter's like, April, calm down, it's okay, you're safe here. And she's like, you see her on her face, like, it's not the recognition from his voice, and she just bum rushes Splinter and hugs him.
Oh, jeez. All right.
And she goes, I thought you were dead. And so now we get the origin story of what the hell's been going on.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Here we go. 15 years ago, April was 10 years old.
Great.
And she worked much like the Michael Bay film here.
Yeah, and
a lot of the stuff's the same. Her dad worked for TCRI, and she was at the lab a lot because he was a single dad doing his best, and TCRI was not a bad company. They're okay.
Yeah.
And so she was always around helping her dad out, or just kind of knows being a kid. And eventually, Hamato Yoshi showed up and started working as a janitor because he was new to the country and he needed to support his wife. And so over the course of a couple of years, they became friends, and he got to he was always cleaning the lab. And since they became friends, and like she found out that he knew ninjutsu, and so she, just being a kid, like an 8-year-old kid, she was like, "Can you teach me?"
Oh, that's fun.
And so her dad, because she just bugged them and nagged them. They're like, "Oh, you know what? Fine, you can." And you know what? I'll actually pay for the lessons because like Yoshi was like, "Yeah, sure. I wouldn't mind teaching somebody."
Yeah.
So he teaches April
Oh,
for about a year and a half, until one night, Hamato Yoshi comes in with his wife and his newborn daughter, who's maybe a couple weeks old, and he's like clearly disheveled. Like he's not. Something's very wrong. April knows something's wrong, and she's like, "Oh, why did you bring your wife and your daughter? Who is she? Can like she's like, oh, so cute." And she's like, but he's like, they just seem to be close to me tonight. I have no time to explain it. I have to go to work, and he's like, don't let them out of the just keep them, stay close to them. And so clearly something's wrong.
Yeah.
And so as the night progresses, all of a sudden with April in her dad's lab, and of course he's working on the ooze, all of a sudden Yoshi comes in with wife and kid, and the Foot Clan is following him. And we see Oroku Saki and Hamato Yoshi fighting. And he's not fully shredded out yet, but this is the original, like not the original, but one of those origins of like, no, they were rivals back in Japan. Oroku Saki they both loved the same woman, but she chose Splinter, and they came to America to get away from everything because they didn't want to do it. They didn't want this whole Foot Clan, Hamato Yoshi, or the Hamato clan bullshit. They just wanted to be away from all this stuff. They just wanted to be. But Shredder followed him, or Oroku Saki followed him, found out where he worked, chased him here. And then now Oroku Saki fights with Hamato Yoshi, kills April's dad in the process. A fire starts. We see Shred and Hamato Yoshi is like real angry. Like this is a side of him that April's never seen. It's like almost a little scary. He's like full rage monster going after Oroku Saki, who then just kills his wife and presumably the baby right in front of him. Hamato Yoshi loses it. Shredder uses that opportunity to bat him away, and we see him get knocked into this experiment of the ooze, crash into the wall, into the bin with the turtles, which, of course, April has been around, has named them. That's how she knew their names.
Sure.
And then all the fire drops up, and he tells April to get out of there. And April, just runs, because what else could she do? She was 10.
How does he turn into a rat, though?
So that's where we leave that story for a second.
Okay.
April leaves and like, I thought you were dead. And then Splinter's like, well, let me pick up that story then. Everything you saw that's exactly what happened. But after I got knocked into the experiment or whatever and broke through the glass terrarium with the turtles, there was fire and everything. I knew that I couldn't beat him, and I was already wounded, and I was covered in that ooze. Then I saw these 4 little turtles sitting there, so I just grabbed them. I couldn't let them die. I picked him up, put him in my pocket, and fled the building through the basement into the sewers. I just needed to run. I didn't know where else to go.
Yeah.
And we were a couple hours after the fight, and all of a sudden my body started changing into this. Then I realized that, I had, in the course of my job, I was humanely getting rid of a couple of rats earlier, like getting them out of the... He wasn't killing them, he was like getting them, trapping them humanely, and then letting them release them into the sewers or whatever.
One bit me.
Yeah. And I think that's might have been why I turned into this.
Huh. Okay.
And so for the past 15
I actually
years...
really like that. That's a good Splinter origin. That's
so over
really
the past
good.
15 years, we've been down here.
That's not comic origin, is it?
No, the comic book origin was that Splinter was Hamato Yoshi's rat.
Actually, his rat.
His rat.
Yes.
Who was mimicking him in the cage and then got splashed with the ooze and then became human. But the origin in the original cartoon was that Hamato Yoshi himself
turned into Splinter. Makes sense.
And there are a couple of times they have flip flopped that depending on which cartoon you're watching.
I think it's cool.
But I think it's better if he was.
I like
now
it.
He's a rat.
It's more dramatic.
So then the guys were just like, but April, so you trained with our dad? That's cool, but like, you only trained you were a kid, but you're 25 now. It's like, oh, I really enjoyed it. And so for the past 15 years, I have just been taking, I got a black belt in BJJ. Like, I just scraped together the money because I just kind of enjoyed it. And also because I'm trying to take down the Foot Clan because Orokusaki killed my dad.
Yeah.
Like, and you see that kind of spark of, like, vengeance in her.
That's cool.
And they're like, whoa, okay, well, April.
That's really good, dude.
You need to not post that video. You are clearly a target.
Yeah.
Like, I know... We're all apart. We are one family with this.
Yeah,
we are
really
together as a
tricky
group.
Thing. It's like, how do you tying in Shredder with everything is just really hard.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So good for you.
So
that's elegant. I like that a lot.
Thanks. So, April tells everybody about the young woman that she encountered on the rooftop. And everyone's like, "We don't know who that is. We don't have any clue who that is. We've never heard of her before." And Orokusaki never had any kids.
I think I know who it is.
So, speaking of, we flash over to this young woman. It turns out her name is Karai, as Shredder refers to her as Karai in the next scene, as Karai is giving her the lowdown of everything. It's like, why does April ONeil know your name? He's like, I have no idea who April ONeil is, except this, she's a meddlesome wannabe journalist.
Yeah.
I don't know, but you need to go kill her right now. And Karai says, well, that shouldn't be a problem. I place a tracker on her. But right now it seems to be off. I think she's probably underground somewhere. She's probably in the subway. But as soon as she's above ground, we'll find her. So, Splinter warns April about posting the video, but April's determined to get the word out because we need to bring the Foot Clan into the light so we can get rid of them.
Yeah.
And so that they can face justice for the death of my father and your wife and your kid. And Splinter's sees April you are full of vengeance. You need to, you know what? It's probably not safe for you here. Why don't you and Raph, you go with her.
Yeah.
And make sure she's safe. So April and Raph go back to her place.
Everyone loves Raph.
There's a reason why Raph goes with her. Because Raph also knows Wrath.
Yes. So
April and Raphael actually have some really good scenes as they're going back to her place and talking about it because they both really have anger issues.
And and also Raphael has probably worked through his already,
or some parts of it. Yes.
I mean, he's begun his training.
Yes. So this is important for Raph that he gets to talk to April about the same thing.
Yeah.
Character growth. Also, the other turtles will also have theirs, but I wanted to really include April in the butt kicking. So
no, I like it a lot.
So. They go back. April decides not to upload it yet, but they don't get a whole lot of time to figure anything else out besides that because that's when Karai and the Foot Clan show up and take on April and Raph. And this is the fight from the original movie and from the comics where they are outnumbered and they both get really hurt.
Yeah.
Raph a little bit more, but April also gets she's really hurt.
But they take April.
No.
No.
Raph's able to signal for help. And so the two of them are fighting alone, and they do their damnedest. And Raph takes a hit from Karai that was meant to kill April, which takes Raph out of the fight. And April's like really, she's not broken, but she's hurt. Like, you know, like, oh, I ripped my AC. Like, she's, you know, a sports injury. Like, oh, she's done today. She can't play anymore. Yeah. She's got to go to the locker room. She's got to put everything on ice. She's done. So she's really hurt. The turtles show up just in time, and Splinter comes with. And they're fighting. They're fighting off the foot. Everything's they're kind of kicking. Oh my God, we have to protect both of them. Oh no! Splinter goes to April. They're huddling. The gang's fighting. It's a really cool fight. And then Splinter sees Karai and goes, "My Miwa." And Leo's like, because she doesn't know what the hell Splinter's talking about. She sees another freak. She goes to kill him. Leo jumps in the way, takes her, like blocks her and gets her out of there. Sees Splinter like just shocked. He's not moving for a little while. Yeah. He doesn't know. His dead kid just showed up. He just knows. As a father, I would assume. I was like, that's my kid. That's my kid. He's like, Splinter's not here right now. So Leo's like, guys, we gotta go. Smoke bombs. The turtles vanish. And like, we need to, Raph's in the tub. April's bandaged on a bed. Like, we're in bad shape. It's down to Donnie, Mikey, and Leo. And they're like, we need to figure out what we need to do. Because, like, we're clearly unprepared for what's happening right now. And they know about us. Donnie finds the tracker on April. It's like, how do they find her? It's like, oh, found her. Turned that right off. Because Donnie does machines. Yes. So, like, okay, we need to regroup. Do they know about the lair? They might. That tracker was on her when she was here. They might know. We gotta get out of here. Where do we go? We never set up that backup base. So they're like, April wakes up just enough to be like, my father had a farm 90 minutes out of the place. Like, they're like, great. We're gonna go steal a van. Away!
Gotta have the farm.
We gotta have the farm. Yeah. The farm's really important. So they go to the farm. Yes. They regroup. Raph in the tub. April on the bed. Everyone's kind of like freaking out. Splinter like talking through so like I think that's pretty sure it's my daughter. Okay, so Splinter stole my kid. Wow. Okay, I can't. Wow, we need to. New mission. We were gonna take out the Foot Clan or protect ourselves, but now it's like no, we need to save my daughter from Orokusaki. Okay. And because one of the Hamato clan is currently in enemy territory, and we need to save her. Yes. Also, Splinter talks to April. I was like, listen, the rage in your heart's going to get you in trouble. It already did. Raph has already been on that journey. This was why I sent you guys out together, because I thought that Raph would be able to talk to you about it. But apparently you guys didn't have enough time. Rage and anger is decent fuel if you need it, but you cannot let it take over your body. Yeah. Because if it is, you're in trouble. Trust me, I know, because that's why I lost the fight 15 years ago, because I got super angry about everything. That's how he bested me. And he shouldn't have, because I'm actually better than he is. Or at least I was. So, everyone learns an important lesson. Yeah. And April's like, okay, but he killed my dad. It's like, he killed my wife, and he stole my child. You don't think I'm also very angry? And I also don't want him to suffer greatly for what he's done to me and to my boys. Like, we're all family. Yeah. And my daughter thinks that she's his daughter, and we can't. We need to save her, and I need your help. So the next 10 days... The next 10 days, he doesn't need a little time to rest and heal, because that's why April couldn't be super broken. Yeah. Raph's really hurt in the tub. So over the next 10 days, everyone heals. Everyone kind of comes together, and I was like, great. We got to go back, and we got to save Miwa. That's the plan. Yeah. That's what we're going back to do. So they go back. They go to the lair. They turn on the tracker, knowing full well what's about to happen. The Foot Clan shows up. This is kind of the same thing as the Act 3 fight from the original movie in 1990. The fight starts in the lair, because you got to have a lair fight. Yeah. Home turf. Yeah. They fight, and also, the Foot Clan is ninjas. They're not mercenaries. They don't have guns. Yeah. They're ninjas. So, it starts in the lair. It works up to the street. Of course, it's at night. It starts to the street, goes to the roof. So, this is what I really wanted to make sure I had the back and forth of this scene right, which is why I wanted to look at this thing before we started the start of the episode. So everyone's facing off, and the boys eventually get to a point where they're able to get Splinter and April alone with Miwa or Karai
Yeah.
to try to talk to her.
Sure.
And so April tries first and is like, hey, yeah, I know we fought like a week and a half ago, but like, you're not Shredder's kid. And she's like, nope, fight. And April's just defense. She's totally just defending everything.
Yeah, man.
And then
Miyagi-Do.
And then Splinter comes out and tries a little talk no jutsu himself. And I was like, you're my daughter. And Karai, there's something about his voice and just the things that's been happening in the past couple weeks where there is enough of a crack in her armor where she doesn't outright deny it.
Yeah.
But she definitely can't deal with it.
Sure.
So
He's a 5 foot tall anthropomorphized rat.
right. So
a lot.
she does kind of like, no, bike, and just attacks. Goes after both of them like full bore. There's just, I have to. Meanwhile, that's drawn out Shredder,
Sure.
of course, because he's like, I know what I did, and I want to make sure that Hamato Yoshi's daughter stays on my side.
Okay.
But the boys intercept. So it's our guys versus Shredder, round 1. And they tried the one-on-one approach. They get their asses kicked. It's not smart. They realize, okay, that was super dumb. We shouldn't have done that. Team attack? Team attack! Yeah! So they all jump back in together. Back over to Splinter, April, and Karai, Miwa. And Splinter sees the guys fighting Shredder and like, not doing the best.
Yeah.
And so he looks to April, gives her a nod, and then heads off over to fight Shredder.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the boys. They're fighting. Like, okay, guys, we're doing great. Ha! But whap, 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 whap. Okay, they're all down. Guys, okay, this guy's really good. He's so good. Ha! I thought we were better than this. Ha! Splinter jumps in. Yoda v. Palpatine. These guys are going at it, and it's real good. It's like, thanks for the break, Dad. Whew. The boys need a break. April and Karai are going at it, and April is like trying to learn that lesson. She's not letting her rage overcome her, and she sees Splinter fighting Shredder, who's in the full armor at this point, and she's like, okay, I know what I have to do, what my part in all this is, and we see April start to kite Karai over to the fight.
Sure.
So she's like a little, attack and feint, and back up.
Okay.
Back to Splinter. And the boys are still like, whoo, take it out. Ooh, I gotta air my shell out. Oh my god. So Splinter sees that April is bringing Karai closer to the fight. And all this whole time, Splinter is goading Shredder. They're both verbally and physically sparring. And he's just like trying to get under Shredder's skin about the fact that you thought you loved whatever his wife's name. I don't know his wife's name at the moment. And you killed her. Like just all this stuff, just trying to psychologically poke him the whole time. And eventually, when he sees that April's brought Karai to basically within hearing distance, he looks over to the boys and nods. And they're like, they have that really concerned look on all their faces. And then Splinter turns back to Shredder and purposely leaves a gap in his defense and takes a stabbing shot from Shredder. And then, knowing full well what he's hoping that he goaded him enough because he thinks Shredder knows that he's probably going to kill him. And Shredder then gloats to Splinter out loud, I want you to look at your family, your boys, your first pupil, and the daughter I stole from you as I kill you, which I should have done 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And Karai super loses it. Like, she was broken before, like, and now, like, she's just laid bare because, like, the thing she thought that might be true, but it can't be, please, God, do not be true. Her father figure just said that, it was. Karai just mental break. She can't handle it. Just goes straight for Shredder. And Shredder now finds himself in a position of, what do I do? Yeah. Because do I actually care about her? Oh crap, I think I kind of do. I can't kill her, but I don't know how to stop her without killing her. So that gives an opportunity for Leo to get Splinter out of the way because he got stabbed. Yeah. So he's done. His fight's done. Bye-bye. So he finally just like disarms and knocks Karai away, which allows April to go get her. We gotta get you out of here too. Here we go. Shredder beat the boys. Final round. Yeah. A little teamwork, a little friendship, and once again using the lesson that Splinter taught April early on, because Shredder's now lost it.
Yeah.
He's really pissed off
Yes.
about everything that's happened. It's the reverse of the fight from 15
Yes,
years
and
ago.
it's-
The boys use that against him.
Yeah.
They take all of his armor off. They beat the crap out of him. It's super awesome. And out of nowhere, April he's beaten. The boys beat Shredder.
Put him
It's
in a
cool.
garbage truck.
Oops! Oops! This is one of the best sound bites of all time. Fight me on it. April comes in with a cool, sick ass, like, I don't know, like a spinning heel kick or something, just to knock him out. He was already beaten.
Yeah.
He was down. The boys got the win. April wanted to render him unconscious.
Yeah.
So April gets a cool shot in too.
Cool.
April calls the cops. The cops show up. The boys, ninja veg, smoke bomb. But Karai is also just gone. Karai's in the wind. Or Miwa. We don't know. She's gone.
Huh.
So the boys, like, they head back to the lair. Like, we can't stay here anymore. We're gonna need a new place. April's like, I really appreciate you guys helping me through all that. We're a big happy family because she's basically their older sister.
Yeah.
As they refer to her as like an older sister.
Yeah.
Everything.
That's the proper relationship.
yes. Everything works out. Little cowabunga, little pizza time, little party time.
Hell yeah.
Credits. A remix of TURTLT Power
Absolutely.
because we needed to re-up it after 25 years. We re-up that song to something,
Yeah, man. It's never getting a reboot unless it's for this. You know what I mean?
Damn right.
Hell yeah.
And then credits roll, and then we have a mid-credit scene back at the Foot Clan base as news spreads that
Nudes spread.
I mean, well, it is 2014. They're probably nude spread all over the place. That Foot Clan dojo. News spreads throughout the dojo that Shredder was arrested by the NYPD, and we see the news people talking about all the way to a lab deep inside the compound, and a Baxter Stockman turns around as we see him standing in front of a vial or a canister of ooze inside of it with labeled TCRI. He goes, "Oh, don't worry. The boss won't be gone for long." Credits. Because there was more to that scene with Shredder breaking into the building than we told in this movie.
Which is?
I'm not telling you until the sequel. Until
We're
the
not
sequel.
doing it. Come on.
Baxter's the one that let him into the building.
Oh, okay.
Baxter was a part of the whole thing. Because the Foot Clan wanted to come to the city to establish organized crime to take over.
Yeah.
And eventually they did. But Baxter was the one that helped them get into the building in the first place. So he's
Okay.
been working for them the past 15 years.
Hell yeah.
So Baxter, some of the stuff that you did in yours would probably end up in the sequel of mine.
Oh, that's cool.
Because Baxter would be the driving force of, well, if Shredder's gone for now, well,
we get to fight turtles with turtles.
or Mousers and all sorts of stuff, yeah. Or maybe we make Bebop and Rocksteady. There's more stuff.
Triceratons.
Or we could do Triceratons.
Pizza aliens.
I mean, because we still haven't gotten to what TCRI was yet. That was just a small incident inside the building before we expand what was actually going on. Because there was more to that scene than we actually let on.
Oh yeah. Okay, cool. Wow. All right.
And I really wanted it because the 2012 cartoon eventually a lot of things are doing this now. Where eventually April starts to get trained a little bit to help out because she's like, I want to help. The 2012 one has like psychic powers for a time. That was kind of weird. This it's like you know what iteration we've never seen. April's a part of the gang.
Yeah.
From
April's
jump.
a ninja. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Casey can join in and Casey's cool too, but like different. But like April could also kick ass. She
Yeah.
could be that fifth turtle, but she's just a human, and she's also like 10 years older than they are. But like still, she could also kick ass.
Yeah.
And wouldn't that just be fun? She's not
Yeah.
just a damsel
It's
in
just
distress.
fun. Yeah.
And her outfit could be, she could be a little bit more, a little yellow in her outfit. I did appreciate Megan Fox's yellow jacket.
It was a good jacket.
It was a good jacket.
I thought she was great.
She
I have
was
no
great.
complaints.
I have
about her.
no complaints. She
Yeah.
did a really good job. She did a really good job.
Like she could be April O'Neil in that movie you just described.
Yeah.
That could be her.
Well, seeing as how from that trailer from the Expendables that came out,
Yeah, she can kick
a couple months ago, way back a couple months ago, she kicked butt.
Yeah.
So like she's capable of kicking butt. So, yeah,
All right.
ninja power, baby, turtle power.
Woo!
I give it a 9.95. Dude, that soundtrack, they've never beaten it. One
Yeah.
of the best movie soundtracks of all time is from the original Turtles one in 1990.
Oh yeah.
It's a bunch of bangers.
It's 1,000%.
I mean, it's very of its time, but it slaps, man.
Whew. Well, I think we did it.
Yeah, we absolutely
I
did.
think we fixed it. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Thanks so much for listening, you guys. We really appreciate you guys. We love making this show. We're
really
so glad
do.
you guys are along for the ride. If you are listening to this wherever you catch your podcasts, if you wouldn't mind leaving us a 5-star review. If it's on Apple, you can leave us a little review. I love reading them. They're so fun. It's so fun and so kind and so nice. If you're watching this on YouTube, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, hit that bell, do that YouTube that you do so well. And as always, as we end every single one of these shows, heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
It's the slow. Actually, it's probably the really fast, double-bladed arm hook thingamaboober that you didn't hear coming because Shredder's like, fuck, like, oh, like you hear it after you've been like, oh,
yeah, man, stab that big rat.
Oh, no.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.